And so I think this is the best place for you to get a glimpse into what many people feel is the soul of Jordan, the Bedouin. The Bedouins are nomadic tribes that have roamed the deserts for thousands of years, and they're still here today, living down there in those tents made of goat hair. You can see them right below us.
Wow, check it out. There's even a camel caravan down there.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Let's head down. Peter, we call these guys the Desert Patrol. They used to be an army unit back in the days of the British Empire, but today they operate as both a border patrol and as a desert police force.
Getting up on one of these things, well, at least for me, not very pretty. It wasn't a whole lot of fun for the camel either.
They're it. And there's certain parts of Jordan that the only way you can patrol and secure is on camel.
And they enforce a whole different kind of law here, don't they? It ranges from somebody misappropriating a sheep to
smugglers trying to cross into Jordan with illicit goods.
Oh, really?
I know they're part of the police. They're probably the toughest and most disciplined unit in Jordan.
And they're the last of a dying breed in a way.
Well, I don't think that they'll ever die out simply because of their historical significance. But most importantly, when it comes to understanding the Bedouins and dealing with Bedouin way of life, these are pretty much the most efficient way of dealing with those problems.
You see that Bedouin woman? Her life may seem very harsh to us, but she really understands the desert and knows how to make herself comfortable with what little she has around her. Basically, she gets almost everything she needs from her goats, from her food to her tent. We Jordanians feel a fondness for the desert people, and we honor their old ways. For instance, the Bedouins still maintain their code of the desert, where they offer food, drink, and shelter to strangers. You'll always be welcome in a Bedouin's tent, or even on one of their camels.
Camels are remarkable animals. These single-humped camels we're riding can easily walk 25 miles a day with about 1,000 pounds on their back for months on end.
The camel rides are very enjoyable because it gives you a sense of history of going back thousands of years as you go across the desert plains or down through Wadi Rum. And going in a procession with a couple of friends on camelback is very stirring to the heart and the imagination.
We're progressing at a relatively slow speed right now, but if these guys wanted to take off, they could take off.
No, these things can move if you want.
But there are even quicker ways of getting around Wadi Rum.
Microlight aircraft, ultralight, will give you a bird's eye view of Wadi Rum.
And quite a rush as well from the looks of it.
Absolutely. Adventure travelers have only recently discovered this place, and it's suddenly become a very hot ticket.
But if you want even higher altitude thrills in Wadi Rum, you might want to try skydiving. Once again, they won't let me jump anymore. But that doesn't apply to the rest of my family, thank God. My younger brother, Prince Hamza, can't wait to jump.
The king isn't jumping for reasons of security. I'm not jumping for reasons of sanity.
It's really spectacular, and coming down through the hills is amazing. Really makes you realize how small you actually are in terms of the bigger picture.
Peter, there's one more thing I want to show you. As you know, people have been coming to Wadi Rum for years for the tremendous rock climbing, which is really world class. But now there's a hot new sport that's becoming all the rage, and I think you'll find this very amusing.
Sandboarding.
That's right.
You just find a giant dune, grab your board, and trudge up to the top. There are no ski lifts here or anything of that sort, but you'll get a very, very good workout, but it's really worth it.
Your Majesty, have you tried sandboarding?
Not yet, no.
Well, okay, it might be a bit harder than it looks. As for me, I'm sticking to my ship of the desert.
Okay, Peter, enough adventure for one day. Up ahead is a Bedouin camp where we'll spend the night. Bedouin hospitality is world-renowned. I remember a trip when I was a small child with my uncle. We were out in the desert traveling along the Lawrence of Arabia route. As we got into Wadi Rum, in the middle of nowhere, this old man appeared on a white horse. He came over to us and said, you know, these are my lands and you're my guests and I must give you lunch. And obviously we accepted, and he disappeared into the desert. He came back about an hour later with 15 sheep and prepared a meal for us. Well, it wasn't too long until we found out that what the man had done had taken his only possession, that beautiful white horse, and he'd gone and sold it and bought the 15 sheep for our lunch. So my uncle went out and brought the horse back and 15 more sheep and gave them back to the Bedouin. And really, that is Bedouin hospitality. It's what makes Jordan, Jordan.
So he's just welcomed us to his camp, and we asked about each other's families.
But this is a traditional Jordanian greeting.
Oh yes, I mean, Wadi Rum has many special memories for me, so I like to come out with my friends and my family and be able to camp and get away from the everyday problems of life.
Peter, it's getting late, and I've got quite a day planned for you tomorrow.
Such as?
All I can say is I'm taking you to a hidden city that was lost from maps for thousands of years. Now let's get some sleep.
Peter, this morning we're heading towards the lost city that I mentioned to you last night. It's Petra, and it's nestled in the heart of the mountains, and it's one of the most stunning sights in the world. And we're following in the 2,000-year-old footsteps of the camel caravans that brought spices from India on their way to the Mediterranean. Peter, just put yourself in their place. It wasn't an easy trip. They would creep along step by step for 2 months or more across this parched expanse, searching for water or trying to protect their cargo from bandits. Imagine how they must have felt when they arrived at the giant rock gates of this hidden city and entered the cool shadows of the Sikh, this 250-foot high canyon that snakes its way past carved treasures and into the very heart of Petra.
If we come over here, you can basically see the outline of a man leading a camel and a camel caravan. It must have been amazing to suddenly come into Petra and walk down the Sikh and then suddenly see a flourishing city.
So in a way, this is really their welcome sign.
Absolutely.
Wow. Amazing.
And you see the reliefs continuing on down.
It never stops.